There's still time left to back Crimson Wren. Go to shopclownfish.com. Also, check out the new Clownfish Studios pins. Very cool stuff. We just got it in. Help support the channel. Now on with the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're gonna do a follow-up on a couple of stories we've been following here. And so many websites that were big a couple of years ago are suddenly folding or getting sold off, and we're finding out the truth. The truth is these websites were never actually profitable. They were coasting off of venture capital in many cases, and in some cases they were getting ad revenue and all that. I personally think there was some hokey pokey being done with the numbers of some of these websites like BuzzFeed to make advertisers think they were getting more traffic than they actually were. But we're seeing all of these digital media outlets collapse, get sold, especially in the pop culture space. We've seen so many websites get sold off. Even the Mary Sue got sold off last year. Now they're back to their old shenanigans. I guess Geeky told me that they're in hog heaven now that Trump's going to be running against. Now they got a lot of stuff they can talk about for the next 2 years. But we are seeing a lot of these outlets decline. They're not bringing it. Most geek websites historically, until venture capital and studios got involved and big media companies got involved, right? They basically made enough money to keep the lights on, pay their hosting fees, and pay their writers something. And that was basically it. You know, you get some access, you get some freebies here and there, but they really didn't make a ton of money. They didn't make their founders rich in a lot of cases. I mean, look at some of the people that started, like, CBR and Newsarama. They actually went to work at like DC Comics. I was at Jonah Weiland, and if he made that much money off of selling his website, you would think that he could have retired to the Bahamas or something, and he had to go back to work. So they don't make a ton of money, and they've been selling for a ridiculous amount of money over the last couple of years. And Reese Witherspoon's site sold for like $1 billion or something like that, and now we're starting to find out that it was George Carlin said that all these investors have been clinging to a pillow full of beer farts, basically. And we're gonna, speaking of beer farts, we're gonna talk about Anime News Network and their sale to Kadokawa. And I'm sorry, they're under the impression that things are gonna remain as is, and they put an interview out that things are gonna remain as is. And I'm telling you, as someone who's been to many rodeos, things are not gonna remain as is. They're probably telling you that for now. They'll find a loophole to get rid of you or start pressuring you to change the content. And, kind of like the situation with Twitter and Elon Musk, they're the boss now. They're the bosses. You got to listen to what they say. If you push back, you get gone. And they're paying the bills. You got to do what they say. So we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about Vox being up for sale and all of that. Just this implosion of digital media and somebody who's run websites for a number of years. On one hand, I'm like, yes, take these people down. The other hand, I'm like, well, shit, that is absolutely going to affect me too. So what are you going to do, right? Find something else. Find something else to do. Find another business model. So we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to clownfishtv.com for more objective pop culture news, based pop culture news. Go out to Pirates and Princesses for more objective-based Disney and theme park news. So yeah, we've talked about winter coming for media companies, and let's talk about Vox, and we'll talk about Anime News Network. Figured we'd just throw them both into one video here. CVC Capital Partners and Group Black are pursuing a joint venture bid to buy Vox Media, according to sources familiar with the matter coming from Axios. The bid comes after the media sector is grappling with a tough economic climate, and as CVC, the European private equity giant, is eyeing a consolidation move into more media assets across the U.S. That's not concerning at all. Last week, CVC and Group Black, a media collective, sent Vox a term sheet outlining details for a potential deal. Despite industry challenges, Vox remains a top digital media company, housing popular sites like Easter and SB Nation, plus Thrillist, Seeker, and Group 9 Media. They bought Group 9 Media. Vox was valued at around $1 billion after a $200 million funding round in 2015. This is important. Again, this is where all the money is coming from. You're like, how are they paying these journalists 100,000 plus a year, and they've got these fancy offices in New York and LA and San Francisco. And it seems like they're everywhere on Facebook because they're probably dumping millions of dollars in advertising every year on Facebook. This is how. Now, Vox is doing better, I think, than Vice, I think. And they're definitely doing better than BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed's about toast at this point. They went public, and their stock, last time I checked, their stock was only worth about $2 a share. But lots of journalists getting laid off. Vox is not looking to sell the business at the moment. According to one source who spoke with Axios, even companies not seeking a sale are forced to consider an offer if the price is fair. And this is what I think might have happened with Anime News Network. And if such a move would be in the best interest of the company, its employees, and the shareholders. Basically, these companies, and we're going to see the same thing, I think, with like Kotaku and Polygon and all of the different gaming sites. And a bunch of them shut down, by the way. A bunch of them shut down the last month or so, by the way. But all these gaming sites that are not bringing it, they could get sold off or shut down. And I think they're looking at the long term because they're like, hey, the ad revenue is not good. Oh, it could take like 3 years to rebound. Do we really want to pay these people for the next 3 years when we're not making much money off this site anyway? No, but it can be somebody else's problem. So the CVC Group block pairing for Vox is the second potential transaction the two are eyeing together. They're talking about Bustle Media Group, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they've been looking to sell for a while. Vice, of course, lost Disney $400 million, and that was a couple of years ago. I mean, all of these sites are just burning money. They're just burning money. Venture capital, just burning venture capital, and it's ending. It's ending. Now, Anime News Network is kind of an interesting situation because I did not realize they were for sale. And I've said it before, and I'll say it publicly. Had I known they were for sale, I might have been able to arrange a way to acquire them. I would have looked into options, but I did not know. So there you go, Kadokawa. I probably wouldn't be able to pay as much as they paid, but I've heard they didn't pay very much because Anime News Network does not make a lot of money anymore. Basically, the only value it has, as I understand it, is that if you search for anime news, and more people are searching for anime news now, that they come up in the top of the search results. But obviously, they're not putting any effort into their infrastructure. And of course, we have a little bit of an axe to grind with them because one of their editors called us Nazis like 3 years ago. I was actually in the Caribbean and I got a phone call about it. I got a text about it. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? We're being called, like everything was blowing up. There's nothing I could really do about it. And they're like, oh yeah, this guy from Anime News Network called you a Nazi because you were on the fence about Vic Mignogna. It's like, what the hell, people? What the hell? Anyway, here's their interview. And you tell me if this sounds like things are going fine. I don't think things are fine. I think they had to sell to survive. Interview with the publisher, Christopher McDonald, Anime News Network. Following the news of Kadokawa's acquisition, many of our readers have asked questions. Many readers are worried about Anime News Network losing editorial independence. What do you have to say to address the worries? The value of ANN coming from Christopher McDonald is in its readership. Kadokawa recognizes that if ANN is turned into a corporate shill, our readers will see right through it and jump ship. Anime News Network's values as a company and a brand would go down the tubes if that happens. I hate to break it to you, Mr. McDonald. But after some of the hit pieces I've seen on your website, your value as a brand has already gone down the tubes and people have jumped ship from what I understand. Your readership declined immensely. But I'm just saying, what interest would Kadokawa have in that? I know that all of ANN's editors, contributors, and myself are dedicated to keeping ANN editorially independent. I have a reasonable amount of faith, not 100% guarantee, a reasonable amount of faith that Kadokawa feel the same way. Japanese company, you're disposable, man. You just don't see it. You don't see it. I understand and expect our readers to be skeptical. Our job is to prove to them that ANN remains editorially independent. How will ANN make it clear going forward that any news, reviews, or editorial features written about Kadokawa are not biased or jeopardized in any way? Various companies in the Bandai Namco group have been shareholders of ANN for many years. That is actually true. We've always put a disclosure at the bottom of any article about their products, and we will do the same with articles about Kadokawa companies and products. That is true. You can disclaim it. Just because you disclaim it doesn't mean that you're not playing softball, though. Look at comicbook.com. They don't go hard in the paint against Star Trek because comicbook.com is actually owned, or was owned, I think it's still owned, by CBS. And they'll disclaim it at the very bottom. You're not going to see ABC News or any ABC News outlet taking a shit on Star Wars or Marvel. And they will disclaim at the bottom of their articles that, hey, we're ABC, we're owned by Disney, and so is Marvel and Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? So just because you disclaim it doesn't mean that they're going to actually do investigative journalism into Kadokawa or call them out if they're wrong, or if they've got like, you know, really shitty contracts, or there's a labor dispute, anything like that. They're not going to touch it because they can't. They can't. That's just the truth of it, guys. That's it. Will there be any changes to ANN's content? The editorial direction of the site will remain unchanged. We're always making slight changes and adjustments to our content. These will continue based on the same decision-making process that existed before the acquisition. Okay, sure, Jan. Sure, Jan. What, if any, supervision does Kadokawa have in regards to ANN's published content? A few policies like how we handle image copyrights have been put into place. Unfortunately, we're being asked to abide by Japanese copyright norms. Other than this, neither Kadokawa nor KWE nor the business side of the new company will have any input into what we write. As publisher, I am guaranteed full editorial independence, and all of the editors will report to me and only me. What if they cut you loose? The deal is altered. I'm just saying, like, companies say this, they always say this. I've been involved in acquisitions before. You want to make sure that the people that are there that know how to actually run the site stay as long as they're needed, and then you cut them loose, you know, because you don't want to be like Elon Musk and walk into it and just gut everything and then be like, oh shit, I have to hire some of those people back because I don't know how this site works. And in the case of ANN, this site was built in like the 1990s. Like, you know, I don't think they're going to be allowed to be independent, guys. What happens to the subscriber system? We're going to finish the beta and open it to everyone as soon as we can. Other non-article features are a big draw for many who visit the site. They're going to invest significantly into development. Are you going to have a CMS that was built after the year 2000? Will this investment mean less general ads showing up on the website? We'd like to have fewer but higher paying ads. Wouldn't everybody? This is the problem. The ad revenue is drying up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm waiting for them to like paywall it and be like, okay, well now Anime News Network is like Kadokawa Plus, you know, and you got to pay for it to get rid of the ads and all that. Will companies other than those related to Kadokawa continue to have access to running ads, skins, and advertorials? Yes. What projects are ANA planning to streamline now that the deal is finalized? The encyclopedia, the subscriber program, of course, and some usability stuff like making this site look like it was built within the last 10 years. What attracted you to Kadokawa's investment offer? Aside from the obvious, we're running out of fucking money. My passion lies with the website, not managing the company. So you're an employee. I'm looking forward to spending much more time working with ANN's editors and developers on improving the website. I hope they don't mind my meddling too much. How does this benefit ANN's readership and staff? Kadokawa will be investing significantly into the website's development, so there will be a better website. Oh my God. We've also agreed that for the first 3 years, no profit will be taken out of the company. That money will instead be reinvested into more development. It's not that hard to upgrade this website. 3 years? Like, you could hire a couple of developers and move all this content over into like WordPress or something. Like I run websites. Like, I don't know why this, I mean, do you not have anybody on staff that knows how to code? I don't know. Do you have a final message? As I said in the notice, I'm personally looking forward to what we can achieve through this investment. I'm aware that many websites have been destroyed by corporate takeovers. No shit. So there's good reason for skepticism. But you only hear about the dumpster fires. Tons of other websites continue to flourish years after their buyouts. All I hope for is that ANN's readers all stick around long enough for us to prove that we're on the right path. Could have been us, dude. Could have been us. No, good luck with that. I mean, seriously, good luck with that. I will say that I don't believe that Kadokawa is going to let them get into articles that could open them up to lawsuits. If, you know, Kadokawa owned ANN and they published that piece on Vic Mignogna with those pictures that were basically fake evidence that led to him losing all of his jobs, basically one after another, Rooster Teeth and Funimation, et cetera, that probably would not have happened on Kadokawa's watch because they wouldn't want to open themselves up to a lawsuit. So at the very least, I think that having a corporate manager, corporate handler might benefit them in that regard, and it might benefit readers in that regard, that they're not going to be able to just kind of shoot from the hip and they're going to have to run it up the flagpole before they publish something like that. But I'm telling you, I've been involved in, good luck with that, unless you've got it in writing, and he might have it in writing. They might have it in writing that you've got job security for the next 3 to 5 years. Once they figure out what they're doing and they decide what they want to do, and these companies pivot on a dime, the gloves are off, man. I mean, bets are off. They could just do whatever they want to do, and I've seen it happen time and time again. They say you hear about the dumpster fires, you don't hear about the sites that are doing well. Most of the dumpster fires are in the pop culture space because those sites don't bring enough value to justify existing, other than you've got nerds working at those sites who really enjoy talking about the things they talk about. They're not huge revenue drivers or anything like that. As long as, for most people, as long as their pop culture site, again, keeps the lights on and pays their writers and, maybe a little bit of profit or whatever, then, they're satisfied with that. But I don't think things are going to stay the same. And I don't think things are going to stay the same for a lot of these sites. Now, again, they might get a boost from a renewed round of Trump outrage, which is unfortunate that we have to put up with that shit for another couple of years, but it is what it is. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.